Hi, I'm Eric. I found my phone and welcome to another video. Today I'm back with another monthly recap and review of Global All-Stars, the emerging train wreck of the Drag Race franchise. I talked all about my thoughts from the August episodes earlier this month, and you guys shared a lot of love, and so I'm back to share my thoughts on the September episodes, what I hope will change going forward, some of the issues, talk about some of the queens more, and overall get into it. I feel like last time was a little more organized. This one might be a little more rant, but yeah, you're in for a ride. To clarify, spoiler-wise, I am done watching all the episodes from September. So that was 4 episodes. I now have seen who the final 6 queens in theory are, unless there's some weird twist that happened, which I honestly hope there is. I guess the slight spoiler I'll give so you know exactly where I'm at is I have just seen the roast and seen the queen has gone home as a result of that. Wait till you're caught up to watch this video, or if you are trying to avoid this season like a plague, just keep watching and you'll find out all the things you actually need to know. First, I want to start with the challenges, which I previously had praised for their ability to, in theory, be won by a lot of different queens, especially queens that don't speak English as a first language, most notably the talent show or the ball or the girl group challenge in whatever language they preferred, even though they only rewarded the queen who spoke entirely in English the whole time. But this month is different because this all required a lot of English knowledge, which is really unfortunate for mostly queens whose English is not their first language. We first had the movie trailers with boobies, which fun concept, very, I don't know, it's just silly, it's goofy. And honestly, the trailers actually all did very well. And really that entire episode, they were pretty much like, wow, everyone's doing like really well. This could be my breakout week. This could be a standout thing. And the fact that they just gave it to the Jurassic boobie just for fun and to give it to all of the queens who are from RuPaul judge seasons, that was very odd to just make them all safe. I was supportive of Queen Kong winning that, although I think many other queens could have won that, but I think them doing that and then saying the rest of the team is also just fully safe, I think led to some complications in terms of picking who actually could go home. While I've had high hopes for her, I do think that Eva La Queen going home there, she definitely was giving the weakest performance of it. However, they did give her the smallest part, so it's not really too much that she could do given the circumstances, and it was just kind of an unfortunate byproduct of that challenge. On to the cocktail dress thing. I was surprised to have 2 design challenges that quickly, but they really were going for the queens who can't sew, but also not Alyssa. The challenge itself was fine, and I think them having people switch the materials was a very fun idea, and I think it led to some drama that honestly kind of exposed some queens' bitterness towards others and a little bit of classism. Remember in August we had a discussion about queens who don't come from countries with tons of money and how they have to make do and make other drag work. And I think it's a little rude for Alyssa to be just so mad at Tessa getting to use her expensive supplies. Like, just let her. Oh my gosh. Like, she was so focused on it. And I was like, it's not even that big of a deal. Everyone had to change. I also found it very rude how much Kitty was going on at Nelly for being annoyed that she got the supplies. And it wasn't because it was not beautiful fabric. It was that it's hard to work with and sew, and that she's not the best seamstress. And that is why it was challenging. So I don't really see why Kitty was just so beating her. It was bullying, honestly. I think especially for Nelly, being a queen who has to think before they give a proper response, I think it was really just putting her in a corner and really just becoming a doormat for her. And also during that breakout, we also got the notorious margarita pizza incident, which I'm glad Nelly is reclaiming it in terms of using it for Snatch Game later on and stuff, but it was very frustrating to watch. That really was like, oh my God, just leaning into the stereotypes and RuPaul laughing at that. And it was just not showing the grace and the tact that a production like RuPaul's Drag Race should have when it comes to those types of topics. I think Gala trying something different that episode and Soa Demuse doing something gorgeous. That was probably my favorite outfit that Soa Demuse has ever worn. And the fact that they both ended up in the bottom for it, I was like, that was terrible. And I noticed as soon as Gala was not put in the top 2 for the talent show, and also that she was picked to be in the bottom with Eva for the booby challenge, that production has seen Gala as disposable, and that's really unfortunate because she really could bring something really amazing to the table. I mean, now we just have Australia and then Europe and America now, so I think it's really unfortunate to later see her go, but it really shows that they really were just picking someone to be put in Drag Race Mexico, and I think the way that they treated her was not good for the fandom, it's not good for the culture, it's not good for the show itself, so it's really unfortunate. But she didn't even lose this episode. Soa going home when she looks the best she's ever had, and I know she didn't know the words to the lip sync. Doesn't matter. I think that bottom two was very rigged, and they could have easily put other queens down there. It's a very interesting watch. I think Tessa winning the challenge was great in the fact that we finally got someone who's not Queen, Alyssa, or Kitty winning, but it's very odd to see that it's the queen who had the most expensive fabrics at her disposal that gets to win. So we are still rewarding the luxury. We're still rewarding wealth and excellence, and that you can't just put something together. It's just like, oh, this is the best dress. Well, yeah, so you have like a ton of materials at your display because you're Alyssa Edwards. You might have the resources that some of these queens don't have, and the networking and all of that. And I think if you really cared much more about the craft and the style and stuff like that, you might reward other people. That said, congratulations, Tessa. That's not to take away from her win. It's just more of a point of noticing that we are rewarding queens that do have more resources. And even though Alyssa Edwards didn't directly get rewarded because it was not the suitcase she got to use, it still was her supplies that they were fawning over, much more than the work that other queens could put into whatever materials were at their disposal. We then get into the Snatch Game of Love, and I am definitely a bigger fan of Snatch Game over Snatch Game of Love. I just don't really need it being this relationship thing, and I think I like all the queens getting to banter with each other in theory. I get that it's an all-star season, so that's what they've been doing, but still, you could do something different. It's Global All-Stars. You're doing a brand new spin-off, so you could do what you wanted. If you wanted to, you could do a completely different version. But I think improv is a challenging thing for queens whose first language is in English, as we saw. I'm very proud of Nelly for the work she was able to do, but I'm not surprised that Gala and Tessa are not the ones that were succeeding. I also do think it was very odd that Queen Kong's comment about tacos did not get edited out, because first of all, very poor taste joke, but then them deciding to leave it in and then not address it later, very interesting choice on the path of both producers and editors. I think Kitty winning is in theory fair, but I think we could have had other contenders. I think there was a lot of good work happening on the stage. And while Snatch Game of Love is not my personal favorite, it was still enjoyable to some degree. I do think someone like Nelly should be especially rewarded for the fact that she is doing it from not knowing English as a first language, and she's still making the judges laugh. That's really hard to do, especially with these judges. They are not good at laughing at other types of humor. So Nelly playing to their strengths and making it work is something I personally applaud. Of course, my fave, Gala, got sent home. I really need to just go watch her season. That will help me practice my Spanish too. And I will see some iconic work and people actually rewarding her for her work. So I would love to see her, and maybe she'll get on a Mexico All-Star season at some point, because gosh, Global All-Stars is really apparently not the place for her. That Muppets lip sync was so unserious, and at first I really thought that Gala should have taken it and that they just picked Vanity because Vanity is more of a producer favorite. I have rewatched it and I realized that Vanity actually did do really well in the lip sync, and it was competitive. I would not say that Vanity clearly won, but they clearly showed that she was going to win that one instead of her. I think Gala did a great job with it. I mean, it's a weird lip sync. And again, I think a lip sync like that, I think they specifically were like, Gala will pull out stunts over everyone else. How can we get her out? And so it's really unfortunate that that is the producer choice, but that was definitely a producer choice. Make no mistake. I'm almost certain that that is true. But then we move into the most recent episode, which is the roast. It was good when it was good, and it was not when it was not. I think Nelly should have won. I don't think Queen or Kitty should have won, because first of all, they already had the two wins. Balance it out. Like, you're not just going to have a final two at the end of this season, and it being between two of the English-speaking franchises is a little ridiculous. If so, balance it out. If you clearly love Nelly, I mean, the editors clearly do, but I don't know why she still has not won a challenge. I don't know, maybe they really want to give a whole underdog narrative, but they really are not rewarding her. You know, she's getting top marks the whole time. It's kind of giving a bit of Dawn and some other queens that I've seen that are really just there, even though they are doing successful and doing well at every challenge. They're just not getting the reward for it. I don't see why that is. Well, I see the reason in terms of the fact that we are really practicing English as a first language queens, and we definitely have producer favorites, but I don't see it in terms of the story that they want to show, and also just showing challenge performance and how they edit those challenge performances, and then how they are actually judging it. It is unfortunate that Pythia went home during this episode, but Vanity, she killed that lip sync. That is the first lip sync I've seen from Vanity where I was like, wow. Like, wow. I was like a bit starstruck. She really crushed it. And like Pythia obviously has had some really good outfits and has had performances. She is the first queen, I think, to go home with a win under her belt. So that is cool to have a little bit of that representation, but it's unfortunate that she did not make it further. Our next challenge will be the makeover, and they're bringing the eliminated queens back. I would love it to be something like All Stars 2 or some other season where they brought queens back, where they can get back into the competition. That would be really cool. I think that would be fun. I think people love to see that type of gag, and it would be lovely to get to see the journey of one of the queens that went home. Much more than some of the queens that we still have left, unfortunately. So I would love to see that twist happen. It didn't seem like in the promo like it would be that. It just seems like they have to collaborate and work together, and maybe some past bad blood might resurface. But I don't see it having that twist. I feel like they would advertise that to get the ratings up, because I've heard that the ratings this season are abysmal. Now we're gonna get into the final 6 in the order that I think they have the most likely shot of winning. This is not who I want to win in that order, or the reverse order, but it is who I think will probably get the closest to winning. I think who has the lowest shot is Tessa, and that's just really because she's already had a big redemption from her original season, where I think she went home 8th or something like that, and she was in the bottom for the majority of it. I don't know why they keep saving her from lip syncing, because she clearly lip synced that many times in her original season. She was good enough at it then. I didn't watch that season. I might someday, but I think the fact that they have not focused on letting her be in the bottom shows that they are favoring her a little bit, and they have given her wins, a mini challenge and a maxi challenge. So it is possible that they do like her, but she just hasn't done any top of the top performances beyond the one win she's gotten. I've grown to like her a lot. She was someone who I thought was going to go home immediately and be the big drama for the season. She's not. She really was learning how to bite her tongue at certain times, but she can be really shady when she wants to be. I really would have loved to see what she did for both the I Drove All Night lip sync as well as for Phenomena, but I see that they have been favoring her a little bit, but I don't know how much longer they'll favor her, because they just have a lot bigger fish to fry. And bigger fish meaning ones that have been much more on the producer favorite side of things. Next up we have Vanity Vane, and I couldn't get into her for a lot of it. I don't feel sympathetic to her. I don't know why. I think the edit wants me to, but I can't. I don't know. She's just had a lot of mental health struggles throughout this competition. Like, she decided to just have nothing, and then she decided to make that dress out of like paper and stuff like that very last minute, and then she was saved from being in the bottom. How? That just felt very weird. It felt like Vanity and Tessa have been 2 of the producer favorites from non-English majority countries. So I think she does get like this big edit that I just keep seeing, and I don't know why she keeps being saved. I do see in I Drove All Night and now in Phenomena, I understand that those performances were good, and especially I Drove All Night, she definitely beat Pythia on that. But I don't know. I just think she's too much in her head this season for her to go into a final 3 or final 4. It just doesn't add up to me that that will be the case. I definitely do think that she's been highlighted a lot, and if she wasn't a producer favorite, she definitely would have been home by now. Sorry, Vanity. I don't think you actually should have won the talent show. Not necessarily because of the lip sync and particular, that you in general should not have been in the top 2 for that. I think there was a lot of competitive people in that your spot didn't make a whole lot of sense comparatively. But I do hope that her mental health has improved from it, because it just seems like she's a bit all over the place this season, and I hope that she is doing okay right now. Next we have Alyssa. I can't see Alyssa getting below Final 4 because I just feel like they won't make her do worse than her previous seasons. But the amount of times that she has been safe this season, I really thought it was going to be an Alyssa Edwards show, and it's really kind of taken a backseat to not be the Alyssa Edwards show, and I'm curious about why. I don't know why, but it seems like, not that she's lost favor, but that she's just kind of there, and she does, translate to the American girls what she is experiencing from the international girlies, but I don't know, they're not going to crown her, I think, at this current point. She only has 1 win, and that win is really debated in my head. I still think that Queen should have gotten that alone. I think it is odd, and I talked about it in the first installment of this debrief about how I think that it's a catch-22 about Alyssa Edwards in this season, because if she doesn't win, it feels rigged. If she does win, it does feel rigged. So it is strange. I wonder if they are taking the advice of those first few episodes that were more Alyssa heavy and re-editing it as we go along so that they are not that way. I noticed that the run times of the episodes are also getting a bit longer too. So it seems like they are trying to listen to some feedback that they can actually address right now in the moment. But yeah, I think it's a bit strange where Alyssa Edwards is at. She feels very much in the middle. Like, her roast was dead set in the middle. Not bad, not amazing. It was just good. She has survived each week. And I know that she keeps wanting to get a high place in, but she's not blowing me out of the water with really anything. I don't think I've been blown out of the water by anything that she's done this season. She's iconic, don't get me wrong, and she has done some good performances, but I feel like this isn't a legacy performance. Kind of like how it seemed like Roxy Andrews was on All Stars 9. Not that I actually watched the show, but it seemed like in lip syncs and stuff like that she wasn't making new iconic moments, she was recalling past iconic moments and redeeming herself for things that she had messed up previously. I think Alyssa Edwards is doing the same here, and it doesn't seem like she's gonna get it at this point. It doesn't really make sense in the edit that she will get it at this point. We have Nelly, and I know she has no main challenge wins. That's not stopping me from loving her. She is all over the edit. She is lovely. She seems like just a nice person, and she does consistently well, and she's been really utilizing the vitriol and the rudeness of the people around her, and low-key English centrism and, stereotypes that would be used against her. She's really taking it in stride, and I think she's going so far because she is trying to take into the judges' critiques, even when those critiques are really not valid. She is doing her best to please the judges, and I think that is one of the reasons why she's doing well. And I think if the crowning is live like it is normally, I think this will be their out, the producers out, to not have someone that the audience has kind of grown to resent a bit win. I think it'll be particularly very interesting if she does go home sooner. I think she's really like one of the last people I'm really rooting for in here. I'm rooting for, I think, Tessa and Nelly. I'm so surprised I'm putting Tessa, but you keep sending all the queens I'm excited about home, so I just have to work with it. But I think Nelly could be our underdog, and it could provide a nice story to button this season and actually be a season that people enjoy the end of. And put Kitty at second because she and now Queen, who will be the number 1, are in the same boat, and they both have 3 challenge wins, sometimes deserved, sometimes not. And Kitty has so many confessionals, but they're showing her being very mean, and I just don't think I've seen a season where they put the mean person in first place. It just doesn't make sense. I liked her sassy comments before, but it seems like there is a rudeness and an insecurity in there, and not in a way that's Bianca Del Rio, where it's just like, that's just my personality, I'm just like that, but more like she comes for people, and like she holds like a bit of a grudge on it, and it's really frustrating and very like hard to watch, honestly. I'm just really not enjoying her nearly as much as I was a month ago. It seems like they really have leaned into the rudeness that she can possess. So I think Kitty will be a very controversial winner if she gets picked, which is why I think in a final 3 or something like that, she wouldn't. But again, I don't know if they're going to do a lip sync for the crown or what. I don't know. It's a whole new franchise in theory, even though we act like it's just a regular All-Stars. I have who I think will probably win, which is Queen. She has the 3 challenge wins. She's dominant. And she definitely comes off a bit nicer than Kitty. But again, the taco comment from Snatch Game. What was that? What was that? You know, so there definitely is some rudeness. And I felt like when it was everyone against Nelly, I felt like Queen and Scylla were both leading that. So it feels odd that, again, we had these 2 dominant challenge beasts, but they're also not the nicest people showing in the edit. I was watching a video from the Drag Detective and they were discussing about how the producer and the editors are definitely not on the same page in terms of the storylines they want to convey. The producers have their favorites, but the editors are not making us root for the favorites. They're making us root for the people who are getting sent home really unfairly. Well, I like that the editors are highlighting that. It makes it for a really weird viewing experience because we're supposed to root for the people who are getting sent home. And so we're just getting devastated week after week instead of getting to root for David beating Goliath. We're just seeing the Goliaths triumph and the Davids just get squashed. With that, I have some notes for how I hope the season goes. I hope you have a final 3 that includes at least one from a non-English majority speaking country. So I hope it's not Alyssa, Kitty, and Queen, and that's it. That feels wrong. I would love if you have Nelly up there, Tessa, Vanity, if you have someone come back and you actually give them a better edit, I would be very interested in seeing that. Twist with the makeover challenge of having queens come back. That would be lovely. I don't know if that's in the future, but those are my really only notes for this season because I feel like we're too far into it to actually fix the problems. There's many inherent problems, and I hope that if there is a Global All-Stars 2, which I feel like there is unless it is just getting canceled because of the bad ratings, I think we could potentially fix it, and there are ways to do that. So your notes for Global All-Stars. 1, it should not be RuPaul, Michelle, and Jamal. You should not have 3 American judges on the same panel for a Global All-Star season. It makes no sense. For the majority of the episodes, we've had American guest judges as well. So the fact that we have 4 American judges on a panel, how is that helpful? I liked them in Snatch Game. I love having the judges from Drag Race España, and I loved Graham Norton being there. It's great to have international figures. I told you, it would be great if you did that. I think that should be every week at least, and I think you can keep Michelle. I know that RuPaul is not going anywhere without his emotional support, Michelle, but let's have those 2, maybe, and then have rotating judges from other franchises. So there is some more fairness. There are other people who know what the heck is going on. It could even be a Ru girl in there. I know that might still preference a Ru girl being there, but I think you have so many opportunities to make this an international thing and a different thing, and you're not. And why are you not? I wouldn't be able to tell you. I think treating it not like just a regular All-Star season, I think you should not just always have these stock challenges. I think you should come up with some new things that make sense with people who speak different languages, people who come from different parts of the world. You could do so many different things. And I have been liking the runways because I feel like they have emphasized that. Like, for example, the food one where it was focused on different foods from your cultures. That's really cool. I think you should be doing more of that and highlighting that and not just doing, okay, here's some cultural stuff, but then we're actually just going back to basically an American series. I think you should have people from Drag Race España, Drag Race Thailand, and if possible, also Drag Race Holland. I think I heard that they canceled that. I don't know if that's just a hiatus or whatever, but also having people from the other franchises. You can have a cast of 15. I know that's a lot of people. Why is 1/3 of your cast from places that mainly speak English? It seems very focused that you have to have those people, but not anyone else. All those other ones are disposable, and that feels wrong. It feels weird to watch that, and it feels weird if I would to enjoy it. I also think we should highlight the strengths of people when they are giving strong performances. I feel like Bang Bang, it seemed like everyone was flopping, even though I could see that they were going into a stunt, and that probably did well. Why are we not highlighting it? Why are we giving weird edits to lip syncs that people are strong in, even if they're going to get sent home? show that they still have some power in them. If you're gonna give these queens a platform, why do you want to make them look bad? It doesn't make any sense. Why did you invite them if you just want to make them look bad? That's just rude. That's mean-spirited, and I'm not supportive of that. That sums it up. Essentially, just know your demographics of who is being on the show, who is actually going to watch the show. You're gonna see a lot of not American people there, and they're all very unhappy that they're not having their faves and their countries put in the best light. And I also, even as an American, am not seeing this go well. And so I don't know who this is currently serving, and it seems like an Alyssa, Kitty, or Queen coronation. And I don't need that. I don't need no specific queen to win. I just want to see the queens succeed and have a good season out of it. And it seems like it's just a lot of bullying, English as a first language preferencing, and classism, and like, I don't know. It's just not something I'm entertained by. I can delay watching it because I'm just not excited to watch it. I just know I should watch it if I want to stay in the loop. But yeah, there's some good moments, but it's currently a train wreck. Based on that, I don't know if I should talk about it post-finale or see right before the finale. I don't really know how many more episodes we really have until the season ends. But yeah, let me know all of your thoughts about this season down in the comments below. Let me know whether I should talk about it before the finale or after the finale first. And yeah, it's a lot. I feel like I just word vomited all over you guys. I apologize if it was long, but I hope you got something out of this, or just were here to hear someone of a fellow opinion that this is rough to watch. If you like this video, please like it, comment down below what I should do next on my channel. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already and you'd like to be. And thanks for watching. This is TurtleStormer. Catch you later.